Imagine you're sitting in the examination hall for the final exam and the paper has this question. Now you think, oh, that's great, I know the answers for parts B and C. I also can label the parts in A if a diagram already exists. But drawing the alimentary canal? That's a little difficult task and it's time consuming. What do you think students do when they are in such a dilemma? Some decide it is too time consuming and just skip it. Some decide to come back to it at the end. And some decide to spend time on it right away, thinking that they will spend only few minutes and end up unnecessarily spending more than half an hour. So what should one do? The best way is to be prepared for drawing such diagrams efficiently and in short period of time. In this video, we are going to draw the diagram of human digestive system or alimentary canal, which is proportionate, neatly labeled, and one which we can draw in a short period of time. All you have to do as a student is to pay attention to the details in this video, follow a few simple instructions and practice the diagram. So let us begin. This is the complete diagram that we are going to draw today. Of course, not all of us are very artistic and we get scared looking at such complex diagrams. So let's make it simple by going over it step by step. Answer paper in the examination are ruled. That is, they have lines. We are going to use these rows to measure most of the proportions. We require a sharp pencil, an eraser, and a scale to draw this diagram. Few important things that we should consider before we start with the diagram. 1. Our complete diagram is going to span 17 rows. Second, we want to leave 2 blank rows each at the top and at the bottom. So the diagram is well spaced out. So the total space needed for the diagram is 21 rows. This will actually help in understanding how much space is to be left if we want to come back and draw the diagram later. Third, we want the diagram to be widthwise in the center of the page, not too much towards the right or left. This will give us enough space to add labels on both sides and our diagram will look neat. You can also do it by simply folding the page into half like this. Take care not to have a sharp crease, as the vertical middle line is only for your reference. Just lightly press on the top and the bottom to get markings like this. Also remember, if there is a margin on the page, then you want to fold like this using margin as the reference line. Using these reference points, let us draw a straight line. This is going to be our reference line throughout the diagram. This line should be in the center of the esophagus and the anus. We will also use this line to align other organs. We are going to begin drawing this diagram with the shoulder line of the man. To reach the shoulder points, we need to leave some gap from the top, which is 2 rows for spacing, 4 rows for head, 1 row for neck, and 1 row for the neck and shoulder connection. So that brings us to the line below the 8th row. Here we will mark 2 points 6 cm apart with the central line as the middle, that is 3 cm on the left side and 3 cm on the right. Let us also mark 2 points which are 1 cm apart on row 7. We will use these to draw the neck. In row 8, let us draw connection between the neck and the shoulder and extend it downwards in the row 9 to form an outline of hands. Now starting from this point, we want to draw a semicircle on the right side of the line which extends upward covering 3 rows. Let us extend this line downwards on the left side to form forehead region. Forehead region should occupy row 4. Moving downwards and extending the same line, let us draw a small dent for eye region and use the rest of the row for the nose. In row 6, let us extend the nose region to form the outline of the upper lip, lower lip and chin region. That's it. And we have the basic outline of the human upper body ready. We can use these same measurements and the outline for drawing the diagram of the upper respiratory system too. Okay, now we can keep this man bald like this, but I'm going to add hair. Like this. Just a simple cap-like structure. Nothing fancy or time consuming. Let us also add the outline of hands. This makes it easy for us to outline the torso or the trunk region. Now here we want to show two cavities, buccal cavity and nasal cavity, which are connecting in the throat region. Use the small gap between nose tip and the upper lip to separate these cavities. Did you know that this small part is actually the roof of our mouth? It is called palate and it helps us in swallowing the food. Okay, so from this point, we want to draw a small open pipe-like structure which is the esophagus. Make sure that esophagus is partly on the left side of the reference line and partly on the right side. Length of the esophagus shouldn't be too long or too short. Otherwise, the alignment of the rest of the organs will change. So we will keep it to total of 5 rows, that is rows 7 to 11, beginning from the neck region. Esophagus then leads to stomach. So before we draw the stomach, let us draw two faint vertical lines, each 2 centimeters apart from the reference line. These lines will guide us with the outer limits of the organs that we draw and we won't get lost. For the stomach, we'll use 3 rows, that is row 12 to 14. But top part of the stomach can slightly extend to the upper row. Now to draw the stomach, let us extend the esophagus lines such that they form a J shape. Remember, the stomach is located on the left side of our body. While drawing, we are drawing the person in front of us and that is why we are drawing it on our right, but it is still the person's left. Same is true for the other organs that we'll be drawing. Now let us simply extend the duodenum part with a nice bend in the row 15. Using the gap created by the bend, we can show where the bile duct connects the duodenum. Starting from this point, draw an upward outline of the Y structure and a small circle for the gallbladder. The Y structure will show the connection of the bile duct to the liver and the gallbladder. Now that we are done with this, let us draw the largest gland in the human body, which is, of course, the liver. For drawing the liver, we'll be using rows 12 to 15. This overlaps with the stomach. We simply need to add a triangular cap-like or a mushroom-like structure to show the liver. Make sure that the duct connections and the gallbladder we drew earlier are correctly located with respect to the liver. Next is the pancreas. We need only one row and it's a simple leaf-like structure that we will draw closer to the stomach. Make sure that the central duct connecting duodenum is visible. Pancreas have dual function. As an exocrine gland, it secretes enzymes that help in digestion. And as endocrine gland, it secretes hormones like insulin. At this point, it is better to draw faint outline of the colon or large intestine. We want the large intestine to take 5 rows, that is row 15 to 19. For this outline, we should draw an inverted U-like structure with double lines. This should extend from the right side and come down to row 19 to form the anus. Start drawing the curves on the lightly drawn outline of the large intestine. I prefer starting from the ascending colon, which is the left part in this diagram. Do not forget to draw a small finger-like extension here, representing appendix, which is the vestigial organ present in the human body. Now you must be wondering, hey, small intestine comes before the large intestine. So should we not draw it before the large intestine? And you're correct, but in this diagram, the small intestine is present in the space created by the large intestine. Thus, it is better to draw the large intestine first so we don't mess up with the proportions. The small intestine is very long and forms loops. Now let us add loops of the small intestine in the space present between the large intestine. While drawing, we must consider tubes. 1. The small intestine must start from the duodenum we drew earlier. And 2. It must connect at the cecum part of the large intestine. In between the start and end points, we are drawing ribbon-like structures, basically two parallel lines which form loops. Looks nice, right? But we are not done yet. Now we should erase the reference lines that we had drawn and just add simple outline of the body. Like this. We can also add some finishing touches like these lines on the large intestine to improve the appearance. And we are done with drawing the diagram. But our diagram is still incomplete unless we add the labels. Now we can simply start adding labels one by one and it may end up looking like this. We want our labels to be evenly spaced out and not crowding in one location. To avoid such crowding of labels, we can add reference lines like this. These can make sure that we don't label too close to the diagram. Now while practicing the diagram, you can practice labeling all the parts. But in the exam, make sure that you label only the specific parts asked in the question. We can space out the labels equally on the both sides. As you can see, I have drawn my label lines only till the reference lines. Then carefully erase the reference lines and add the labels. That's it. Our diagram of the human digestive system is complete. It wasn't too complicated, was it? It may seem like too many instructions at first, but after you draw the diagram a couple of times, it will be easy. If you practice well, you can draw it within 5 to 6 minutes, and that will surely help you in the exam. You can also revise the digestion process and the function of each organ while practicing the diagram. Here are some examples of questions related to drawing the human alimentary canal, that is the digestive system. I hope you like this tutorial. Let us know which other diagrams you find difficult to draw and would like to get tutorials on. Meanwhile, practice this diagram and visit the Akshara website to find more such interesting videos and articles. You can also download the Akshara app from the Google Play Store to help with your exam preparation.